Hey everybody, out in the wild today, attempting to make a deadfall trap. I just got the log, and now I gotta go get the 2 guides and the trigger, and I'll show you how to make one. 4 guides, you're going to want to get 4 pegs that are about 2 feet long and fairly straight. So I'm going to get a couple pieces off this fallen cedar right here. Like, you're going to want to be about, I don't know, an inch wide, and you're going to want to go to try to get them about 2 foot long. So I'll make one and show you how to do that. Alright, I only got one hand here, but I'm going to try to cut this on video. So obviously a lot easier with 2 hands, but whatever. Alright, so you should get 4 sticks that look like this, you know. Like I said before, 2 feet long and about an inch wide. And then we're going to just sharpen one of the ends so it will pound in the ground easier. So I really wish a cameraman showed up so he can video me doing this. But here's the finished product. You know, there's a stick and there's just a point on the end. Now this is one of 4 guides that you're going to need. So I'm just going to make the other 3 off video, and then I'll resume footage back at the camp. As you can see, I finished all 4 of the guides. I'll show you where to position those in a second. But right now I'm going to go make the trigger. So I just went and cut a piece. The trigger should be about the same size as your guide, and should be just a tad thicker, maybe 1.5 inches to 1 3/4 inches. So pretty much it's going to be the same length for your guide, about 2 feet, and just cut it down the middle. So I'll do that now, and I'll be right back. Alright, so I just cut the piece in half, and now what you're going to want to do is put a V-notch in one of them. I haven't cut it yet, I'm going to do it now. And then on the other piece, you're going to want to put like kind of like a point on it so it would sit inside the notch, and I'll do that now. Alright, so I just finished making the trigger assembly, and on the bottom piece you're going to want to put a really fine or a really blunt point, and then there's that notch I was trying to describe to you earlier. And then on the top piece you're going to want to skinny it down to it's about as thick as the notch you made up here, so it fit right in, and then just leave it flat on the top. Alright, so one piece I'm going to tell you about is just one peg that you put at the back so the log won't kick out. So right now the posts aren't in, but you're going to have one on each side of the front of the log, one on each side about, I don't know, a couple feet back, however big of an area you want. And then you're going to have one peg at the back to make sure the log doesn't kick out, which would go right there. So I'll just start assembling this and pick up in a second. I just finished pounding the pegs in. So as you see, I left, I don't know, a little bit of play on each side of the log between the guides, and then you put one peg in the back so the log won't slide back. So just in theory, an animal would come to some bait placed in the trigger, and then when it would take the bait, this would drop on it. So I'll set up the trigger now and show you how it works. Alright, so here's the trigger all assembled. As you see, it is sitting in the stick is sitting in a notch. The bait's in there as well. And then if you come back, you see when an animal will go attempt to get the bait, it will trip a trap and then fall on the animal's head, hopefully killing it. So then you come here and you find breakfast. Alright, one important note about trapping is that humans give off a scent, like we smell a lot. And so for when you're preparing your steaks and when you're preparing your logs and your trigger, try to do that well away of where you're placing the trap, because you don't want your scent to get all over the place and have animals scared not to come in. Another thing is if you have a dog or a camp animal, make sure it's tied up so it doesn't come and fall in your own trap. And just remember, like when you're trapping, this is a lot of hard work and you're burning a lot of calories, and make sure you get the equal amount of calories back in food or more. Otherwise, what you're doing here is completely not worth it. What you catch with the trap really depends on what you're using as bait. For my bait, I'm using a little bit of pepperoni here. So what that would likely attract could be something like a raccoon or a fisher, maybe a small fox or possibly even a coyote. But let's say you're using something like peanut butter, then you would catch squirrels. Like, it really depends on your bait for what you would be catching with this trap. At the end of the day, trapping is just luck. It's really a gamble if your trap's going to go off, and if it does, if you're going to find a dead animal. never just rely on one trap. You should really set up 7 or 8 traps all around if you're really needing the food. But don't spend more energy than you're willing to lose, because there's no guarantee that you're going to get food. And for building this trap, you will need a saw, a knife, and some bait. And a partner / cameraman would have helped a lot, but he didn't show up today. See you around, everybody.